G'day, the name's Bud James, amateur historian, keen debater, and Australian patriot. I'm sending out a plea and a wake-up call to all Australian patriots who love this country and care deeply about our way of life, culture and freedoms. To those who praise our brave and almost forgotten Anzacs who righteously fought and died against an anti-Semitic genocidal Nazi regime. Now, in 2025, unforgivingly again, we find ourselves faced with an intolerant genocidal regime. But this time, they're the second biggest following on earth. And like the Nazis, have done their utmost best at a 21st century genocide of Jewish people, as shown by Hamas on 7th of October 2023. But unlike the Nazis, Hamas are open and proud of their genocidal intentions and acts. Hamas systematically murder Jews with happiness and adoration, and Hamas don't hide their heinous atrocities. I would say Hamas, the student, has outdone their master, the Nazis. If a good example isn't set at the top, then everyone under them is doomed to failure, and with the burden of leadership also comes the responsibility and accountability of those people under you. And our current government, the Albanese and Wong government, have failed the Australian public miserably. They have fed the monster that propagates anti-Semitism and its evil acts in this country, and have allowed and indeed enticed events to unfold, not unlike Kristallnacht before World War II. Although we have a major housing crisis sitting at just over 1.4% availability, the Albanese government has put thousands of hostile immigrants before and over multi-generational Australian citizens and at the cost of the Australians' taxpayers' expense. And there are thousands of Australians still as we speak living in tents in parks, homeless. And despite this, the government, in a landslide numbers, brings into our country genocidal sympathising immigrants, people that hate the West, people that despise our culture and values, and they have covertly done this to avoid public scrutiny on the transparency regarding the procedure and selection criteria of Palestinian immigrants into Australia. They have been lying to the public. Now, in our whole history, only now is anti-Semitism up 150%. Only now is there a major collapse in social cohesion, and the Prime Minister is directly culpable. It cannot be the case that Albanese and Wong don't comprehend that when you bring people to immigrate to Western countries, primarily from Muslim majority countries, historically and proven by their own codified doctrine, the Quran, do not integrate into Western societies accordingly, as their culture and beliefs are so polar opposite to ours, as night is day. Instead of assimilating and integrating, they live in divided communities. They try and get concessions, exceptions, and special treatment. They come here, disrespect, degrade, and mock our heritage, culture, and government, and try and change our law to benefit themselves. None of these things would be acceptable if the roles were reversed. But the Albanese government doesn't care. They're willing dimmies. They care more for themselves than they do about the country. Reprehensible. Now, all patriots of Australia, people who love their heritage and care deeply about our country, we need to defend our culture and way of life. We need to have a serious conversation and address the core problems that has led to the expedited decay of social cohesion in Australia. We need to stop immigration immediately, certainly from Muslim countries, and we need to get rid of Prime Minister Albanese and Penny Wong. We need to protect and stand by the Jewish people against these 21st century Nazis and their sympathisers like Albo, for they are the God's chosen people. If we don't, it will be shown in time that we stood by the terrorists by doing nothing, which is the worst thing you can do, nothing. We stood on the wrong side of history and not amongst the righteous. To Jewish people in Australia and Israel, I sincerely apologise for the shameful actions towards Jewish people and for our disgraceful Prime Minister who has led us down this path of hate and anti-Semitism. I want you to know that I and many, many other Australians do not share this sentiment, and my heart is with you all, and I stand by you. And there are many voices that stand up for the Jewish people and write and expose all the lies going on, like Aaron Molan and Imam Tawhidi. They're great voices in Australia. And on that note, I'll leave with some the true words of the late great Golda Meir. We can forgive them for killing our children, but we cannot forgive them for making us kill theirs. There will only be peace with the Arabs in the Middle East when they learn to love their children more than they hate us. How undisputably true, unfortunately. St. James signing off.